choosing to address your fight or flight, your fear, and regulate your nervous system in the middle of all this gives you the opportunity and the ability to become an integral part of your medical team, make some decisions, and affect your own healing. When I say taking radical responsibility, I mean putting yourself in the center of every single decision that you make and every single decision that you make with your medical team. I recently came back from Ukraine, and after a day of seeing patients recovering from amputation, a trauma doc that was in charge of that area of the hospital invited Dr. Celia and I for tea. As we sat down at that tiny folding table with our cups of tea, he looked at me and he asked me, "Why are you here?" I told him a little bit about my cancer journey. I told him about my connection to the Ukrainian people and how that all works together as my work as an integrative health coach. After that, I asked him a question. I said, "How do you take care of yourself?" And his answer came immediately. There was no pause. He said, "I walk my dog and I play with my kids." And as I held that silence after he said that, I saw moisture come across his eyes as he started to realize how important those tiny things that did not seem meaningful at all to his logical mind were for him to maintain and keep himself centered in the middle of the chaos, in the middle of the brutality that's going on over there. I could see that because I have been doing that same exact thing for the last 5 years. I was not always like this. Ooh, that cancer call came from this sweet lady right over there. And then this sweet lady right over there told me, "Hey, never mind, you don't need hormones, let's try menopause. It'll be fun." But you know what? It is fun. I spent an entire month after getting that phone call on the floor of my closet, poring over my medical decisions that I was supposed to make. But most importantly, I was deciding who I was going to be through this and how I was going to show up for myself, for my children, and for my medical team, because I get to show up for them too. After I did that, I read my friend Greg's words. He lives in Hong Kong, and he said, "I decided that I was happening to cancer, not that cancer was happening to me." You see, 20 years before this time in my closet, I held my mother's hand as she passed away from breast cancer. I had some decisions to make there. I could put on a brave face. I've seen it done. I put on a brave face when Chernobyl blew up 70 miles from my house. I put on a brave face when I got vitiligo in the middle of being a teenager and was supposed to look pretty at the time. I put on a brave face when my mother died. I did that when my oldest child was diagnosed with autism, and in that space there, it started to falter. So I did not believe that a brave face was going to do it here. Instead, I decided to look at the fear. I looked it straight into the eyes. And for a mother, the greatest fear is leaving her children. That thought brought me to my knees every single time. Until one day, after looking at it intently, I saw that I was that little girl that lost a mother to cancer. And then I also could see my life 20 years following that and how amazing that was. I could finally get to a place where I realized that I wasn't the only one that cared for my children. And I could believe that they would be okay no matter what. And if I could believe that they could be okay no matter what, then I could be okay no matter what. Taking that pressure of the outcome while going through treatment off of myself gave me a whole new perspective of looking at the situation from the other side of that fear. This is the exact pattern, that feedback loop that my Ukrainian friend was realizing and gaining that awareness of in the moment. I stumbled on all of this during my darkest hours in the middle of cancer. Now it's a framework that I use every day for myself, and I use it for people that I work with. It is about the process, not perfection, and I show up for that every single day. I reside in that place. This face is still brave, but there's so much more underneath all that, a tectonic power that supports all of that. And I choose to do it all.